So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This time, I'm with a lovely lady called Roselyne, or Rose, in Tanzania. And great to have you here, Rose.
Thank you very much, Masami. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I just want to, you to give us a quick introduction, even though I can talk about your background, but I think you are the best person to talk about you and what you do.
Thanks a lot, Masami. And hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on this program. My name's Roselyne Mariki. I am Tanzanian. I live in Tanzania. And I currently work as the country manager for So They Can. So They Can is an organization registered in Australia and New Zealand, and we work both in Kenya and Tanzania. And our main work is focused around children, empowering children in marginalized rural communities so that they also have equal opportunities to learn. I'm an engineer, that's my background, but I've worked as an engineer for many years. And later in life, I've worked now to support the children in these communities where they don't have the same advantages that many, many children across Africa do not have. So it's a pleasure to share my experience and my journey with you. Thank you.
And is there anything, personal about your life or your experiences in the past that made you decide to move from engineering to, the field of transforming young lives?
So to be honest, when I look at my life journey, I always stop and appreciate the opportunities that I had through my parents. And the reason for that is because many, many times I meet children who did not have the advantages that I had. And I did not come from a family that was rich, but I just came from a family that valued education, and they gave us as girls equal opportunities as they gave our brother. So we were just lucky. But I've met so many who are not lucky. I've met parents who do not understand or value education. They are more ingrained in their cultural values. I've met children who are hungry to learn, but they have so many barriers that they will never be able to achieve their dreams. So, yes, um, having worked for many years, and I was lucky to work in rural communities, it just gave me the opportunity to rethink and say, how can I be part of the journey of these people who do not even know what those opportunities are out there? Or they possibly know some opportunities, but they don't know how can that life journey be for me as a girl or even as a boy. So that was the reason. And I'm so happy because of the combination of the experience on one side and then the opportunity now to use the experience to be able to hold the hands of many, many young Tanzanians.
Amazing. And could you tell me a bit more about the program in Tanzania? Like how many children are going to the schools that you work with? And
yeah. So thank you, Masari. So the beauty of So They Can is, first of all, we work in rural communities and we work with children who come from very poor families. And poverty is not just in one area, it's multidimensional in different areas. And we currently work in Manyara region, and we work in a district called Babati, and we partner with a total of 34 government schools, out of which 29 are primary schools and 5 are secondary schools. So we reach about close to 22,000 children
wow.
in the work that we do.
And what is the kind of background or decisions around partnership with government schools rather than let's build our own schools, few of our own schools? Like, what is the thinking behind that?
Okay. So we do recognize that communities are where they are. That's their space. That is where they live. They have their norms, they have their traditions, they have their cultures. There are schools in all these communities. And instead of coming in and coming with a proposed solution, we work around what they have. So a lot of the work that we do, first of all, it's very collaborative. We work very closely with the communities. We work very closely with the local government, and we work closely with the central government. But on a day-to-day basis, we work with those communities, and we believe that in order to create a transformation, any kind of transformation, that journey has to be taken by both of us. So it's not just a journey that will be imposed by So They Can, but it's a journey that we will take together. So they, over time, recognize the value of the advantages that they can benefit as a community by letting their children actually get an education. And then over time, they start contributing very heavily towards that process of ensuring that their children can acquire that education. So we do collaborate very closely. We have a number of projects, and in all of those projects, there is a component of the community, whether it's through participation in terms of construction materials for a classroom, or it's for them attending a meeting where students meet just to learn, what is my child meeting, or to actually go to a school to look at the results of the child, and etc.
Amazing. And how do you build the trust with the communities? Because if you are to influence the long-standing thinking, right? Like the lack of understanding in education, like value of education, or how do you work with that?
That's a very important question because, we do believe in, the backgrounds that have shaped us. So, we work in communities where they're very ingrained in their cultural norms, in the traditions that have shaped them for generations. And so we cannot say no to their traditions and cultures, only to the harmful practices. So what we do is, work around that space. So we don't touch the culture that is good. However, we bring stories and we share, the advantages of what that difference would look like. So we work around those norms, and the communities trust So They Can 100%. Anywhere we go, the children will sing So They Can, the parents will say, hey, So They Can. And they 100% trust because we hold hands, we don't impose.
Mm.
Yeah.
I already love the name So They Can. It's a simple name of organization and initiative, right? So They Can.
Mhm.
And it has a tone of belief that everybody can, right? That every child has the ability to live fulfilling lives when they are given the opportunity and a little bit of support. So the optimism, the love, and the joy, and that's what we also experienced when we visited the Kenyan project. So I personally visited the project in Kenya and got really inspired by that positive spirit of So They Can's work. But seeing how over the years you expanded your reach, and now that so many children's lives are uplifted and so many families' lives are changed, I think that's just extraordinary work.
So there's a number of challenges that we do encounter, but what keeps me going is the change that we see every day. When we see there's more children who are coming into school, when we see there are less issues around violence against children, when we see that if there's a child whose parents want to take them for female genital cutting, and that child has been able to report, and that has been stopped. It gives me joy when I see that more and more cases are being reported to the higher authorities and they're taken into consideration. It gives me a reason to continue working on those challenges. When I see the government recognizing the work of So They Can, we have received several recognition to the highest level, to the ministerial level, and so
Wow.
they come for the unique work that we are doing. And that's really helps to say, you know what, this is worth it. Let us continue um, our work. Let us continue supporting these families, these communities, and these children. Let us just be the change makers. Because even if you see one child who
Mm.
has done better, it gives us joy to see that more and more children are transitioning with higher grades, giving them better opportunities in their future gives us joy. There are many examples that we can share.
Mm.
I mean, you can list many examples. So we don't focus on the challenges. We take the challenges as opportunities for us to learn and to do even better.
Mm. Yeah, that is such an important message because if we um, focus on the big problems, then it will become overwhelming and we don't feel like we could do much about it. But what you are saying is that when we focus on small progress we are making and appreciate it, and then use that as a driving force to keep going, then we can look back and go, wow, like look at that enormous
Yeah,
impact that we
exactly.
created together.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing your story and then lovely work that you are doing. And what you are doing is very profound because if you can influence the lives of children at a younger age, then what they can do in their lifetime is actually also huge. So what you are doing is really, really amazing, Rose. And thank you so much for sharing your beautiful smile and a beautiful
Thank
story
you.
with us today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity and all the very, very best and happy Women's Day.
Yes, happy Women's Day. So for those of you who are listening, thank you so much for popping by and listening to this conversation. I look forward to sharing many other conversations throughout today and wish you a happy, International Women's Day.